Hello, hello, hello everyone. Today we will be understanding the phases of event loop. As you have known that event loop is a part of Node.js, so we will try to understand that. So event loop is a core mechanism in Node.js that enables non-blocking I/O operations and async behavior. Okay, so these are the phases in Node.js which are present, and in event loop is implied by libuv library. That means that event loop is implemented using a libuv library that operates in several phases. Each of its own has a FIFO queue of callbacks. So here you can see these are the phases of the event loop. One is timer, pending, callbacks, idle, prepare, poll, check, and close. And then again it goes to timer. So this is the event loop. This keeps running, and how it is handled and worked. It is implemented using the libuv library. So the advantage of this is that the code is synchronous. So the code is synchronous code runs first, and async code like timers, API, file IO, which are required to be which might take a time. So those are offloaded to the system kernel or a separate worker pool, which is generally done by the libuv, which is a part of a successful library in Node.js. Okay, so let's get started with the phases. So first is the timer phase. Timer phase are nothing but set timeout and set interval. So in your code, suppose you have written say 15 set timeout or set interval. Ideally we should not write, but if you have written, so all those executions will happen in this timer phase. Pending callbacks, it's nothing but a TCP error connection refuse. Suppose you have not started any server and you just try to check for the response. So the moment you get that TCP error, that server is not connected, it's the calculation part logic is done at the pending callback level. Idle prepare, it's internally handled by Node.js. We don't have access to this phase, or we cannot do anything over here. Okay. Second is the poll. Poll is the main phase that all your code callback and main logic happens. So there, it happens at the poll phase. Check phase is something that suppose your poll is busy, it's performing some activity. So suppose you want to do some activity when the poll phase is busy, so you can do that in the check phase. So here mostly the method called setImmediate is executed. Since setImmediate, you can write whatever you want to check for a file, whether the file is ready or not. So all those check things you can do in the check phase. Close is nothing but socket, when you want to close a connection. So what should happen on that? So when you close a socket, or when you destroy a socket connection, or when you close a server, all those happens at this close curve, at the close event. And again the cycle keeps running. Okay, so this is what happened. Let's walk you through the code, so it will be easy to understand. So I'll just go to the code. So this is a timer example, how it executes in the event loop. I have shown that. So for example, here let's understand the code first. It's console.log start, simple start. Then we have two timers, set timeout and set immediate. This, as you know, we should execute at the timer phase, and this should execute at the check phase. Okay, because it's a part of a check phase. Okay, and then again I have written the code, console.log event end, and then the initial phase of the is just a simple to tell you that the end of the synchronous code. Okay, so let me just run this. Yeah, so you see the execution of the code start. Then this is synchronous code. This is again an async code, so it went into timer phase. This is again async code, set immediate for check phase. This is synchronous code. This happened end. This is the end of just the initial phase of the Node.js, so it got executed. Next, when the time every phase has its own queue and its own phase to execute. So this after completing the initial phase, just it got to set timeout. But since it is it should execute at 0 seconds, so it's still waiting. So that queue was empty, so it went to set immediate check phase. Since there is nothing in the poll phase, so it went to check phase, and check phase found that you have a immediate method and it has console written, so it is immediate. It is printed immediate executed, and then the timer is executed because 0 second has passed. This is there are chances that set timeout might execute first and then the set immediate. I can show you that. See here, immediately You can see here the initial phase completed as or discussed, but the timer phase got executed. Why? Uh, because the server was up, the OS got the notification that okay, the timer is up, and then it notified the nodejs that okay, timer is up, timer should be executed now. So it got executed, and then it went to the check phase, because this is a part of initial phase. Actually, see here, initial phase is just before this. So first is the timer, then is the check phase. So here the OS triggered the nodejs saying that okay, now you can execute this timer. That is the reason it got executed first. So here just you can see the example here, the immediate set immediate was called before, and then the timer was called, but here the timer was called before, then the set immediate. This happens because in the set timeout we have given the timeout as 0. Okay, this happens because we have given timeout as 0, and this happens if I change this time to say 100 milliseconds, then every time it will be because OS will trigger set timeout after 100 milliseconds. This script will be executed, and when the queue, that at that time there is nothing to execute, so it will bypass and it will go to. Okay, I'll show you one more example. Let me just clear this. Okay, so this is one more example. This is the fire. It is the same code. I'll just explain you. Go first, then just a then you have to just start off the script, then process.next. Then we have just simple file will read this current file only. If you want, you can pass any specific. I am just using the current file. If while reading the current file, it will throw an error, else it will print this particular string, something related to process.next. That's why I have written everywhere process.next. Then again we have here set timeout with 0 milliseconds, set immediate with timer, set immediate, and each of them has a process.next. This is the end. This is the execution of this. This is the simple code script. Now just try to understand what will happen. So here first I have written console.log start. Okay, then this, and here so what process.next does, executed after every phase. Just here you can see this phase idle poll. So after every phase is completed, there is a I can show you like this. So here you can see for that I have written every process.next after every phase. So this set timer phase, this will go to set immediate phase, and this is just a synchronous code that will run in the initial phase. So now let's just try to understand what will be getting printed. So I'll just so here you see start and then after here this is the command. So although it was beginning only, but still only when the initial got completed, then only it is executed. Add callbacks to the next tick queue. This queue is finally drained after the current operation on the JavaScript stack. Okay, so this is how it is executed. So executed after every, you see the output end, which is a synchronous code, and then again process.next tick first complete after initial phase is completed. Next, this is got over. Okay, next we got set immediate. Why we got set immediate? Why? Because here phases before the set immediate. Okay, so what I read file is asynchronous operation. Okay, so when the code is executing from top, just open and okay, in the open this file, that's it. And when it will reaches the reading the file. So when you in the event loop, when it comes to the poll phase, it will start reading the file. So there you don't see any data in the queue, so it will skip to the set immediate, and that's the reason you will give the set immediate. So here set immediate will process.next tick, because after every phase there is a next tick. So then now the loop came into place till that time OS didn't trigger timeout is complete. the file read is completed, and this file read callback you got, and then the because process.ret executed after every next tick after file.resolve cover, and then okay, timer is complete for the timer. So this is how we are event loop cycle works. And I can show you one more thing. So here you can see the you got the success message because when the code was running synchronously, it just okay, the file is there or not. That's it. Only thing it did is that only. Next, I'll just do one thing. I'll just add a not present. Okay, so I'll just save this. Okay, now you see the output. There will be a difference in the output. I'll explain you what. Yeah, so here you see start and end, next tick are same. This initial phase run as it is, and the next tick of then here you got again, you see the timer that okay, the timer is ready. This is change it to 100, then it will be different. Over here is the got the poll, correct, poll only this one error. This will not written. This got executed in the poll phase. Why? Because when the code is executing synchronously, first it will check the file is present or not. If the file is present, it is not present, it will add the error to the poll call. Okay, so now when your event loop it timer, it came from poll, and in poll q call file does not exist. That's why it gives you an error. So you got the error immediately. It is not waiting for all the other events to complete, because we don't have to read any file. The file is not present, so we can directly give that error. So that is the reason we are directly getting this error first, and then setImmediate, which is happening in the check phase after the poll phase, and the immediate time process.next tick, which is after the which happens after every phase. Yeah, so this is how the event loop works. Yeah, thank you.